All right, so people asked me about my numbers, and I wanted to sort of try to replicate. That one is not as long as the really long one. So, but 190, pretty long, right? And so carry 177, and this is a better shot, more usable shot than if I'm hitting it 200. My spin number is likely to become very low, so that's not great. So this spin number is pretty close. It's still on the low side, which is, I mean, these are players' distance irons, so they're designed to launch a little bit high and spin a little bit lower than standard irons. So that's a formula for you could get some stopping power on the green by getting a pretty good landing angle, but you're not going to have as much backspin. So the traditional 6-iron should have spun at 6,000, but people don't do that much anymore. They're right around 5, so this is a little low. I like, if I hit it 200, it's going to be because this number is even lower. I've delofted the club or hit more of a draw. You can see that that's almost a straight shot, a little teeny bit of side spin. So anyway, that's an equation for my launch angle. Now for a 6-iron, that's high. Most people don't launch a 6-iron 21 degrees. They would launch it more in the 15 range. So I'm getting a little more launch, low spin. That's how I'm getting long distance. But the point I wanted to make is, well, first of all, makes no difference how far you hit your 6-iron. What I was trying to demonstrate is how you would create power when you're old and aren't necessarily going to develop a ton of fast twitch muscles or become stronger or do those things. So the whole point of my trainer and this is to show you how to develop power without having, through proper application of force, let's say. So proper application of force being keep it back, let it drop a little bit. There's where you're getting your free power. You can see that I'm still here, right? So I haven't spent anything. That's the big thing. It's really about not spending your power because you're going to have just so much. If I spend my power here, turning around, then I got nothing. And then also, so the other problem is, if I turn a little bit right away, now my plane, if I kept applying power, which I still might have plenty of, is going to miss the ball. So knowing that, if I even get a little bit of turn here, I then have to stop and let the club go. And that's why you have a decel and you slow down and you get that position. So the trick is, you basically don't apply power until the club is in a place where you could turn right through it as hard as you want, and you're not going to miss the ball. That's it. Simple formula. Get yourself, figure out where that is, and if you can even do it just like, okay, if I was right there, I can feel that. I can just go. I can just turn through from there. I could even try some swings where I just say, okay, there I am. I can go from there, right? I can hit it hard from there. Just get there and go. And even that without, so pretty decent without even taking a backswing. So I haven't, that's, you know, not adding any drop to add a little bit of speed to it. So, so the other thing I want to make, point I want to make here is playability. So let's say my spin numbers are too low. I'm hitting it far. That's all well and good, but it's not stopping on the green. So what I would then do is, and what for me too is maybe I'm hitting it too far. Like I need this 6 to go 10 yards less. So what I change is I leave all of this alone. I don't want any variation here. I don't want to start doing something different there. One backswing, one position, coming to the ball one way. So what I change is, for me, that's a draw for me. That's going to be a little bit of a fade. So let me see if I can hit a fade, get a little more spin, a little less distance. That's what I'm trying to go for here. So should be, yeah. So it's a fade, maybe a little beyond what I would want for a fade. Now my carry numbers are quite a bit lower. So that was sort of overshot, but you can see that took some off, but then it's like, well, that's too much. I don't want to be there. So now I'm going to say, all right, so that was that, and that was my draw. And so let's go right maybe between those two. Let's see what that one does. Not a very good strike, but we'll see what we get. So yeah, it's sort of between, a little longer. Spin number came down. It's hard to judge the spin number on that because that strike quality wasn't great. But so at any rate, and yes, I got almost to neutral. Just a teeny bit of side spin on that. Backspin numbers were not really better, but whatever. Anyway, that's the parameters you want to work with. So get your swing going, freely moving, capture some gravity, find the position where you can rotate hard from. And so that's what the trainer is teaching you, is particularly these two. It's teaching you to create a nice planar motion as well, which is very important, obviously, for any kind of accuracy. But this feeling of moving it off the ball, heaving it off the ball, and then because this is heavy, you can't turn it around fast. So you can't go. You're not going to do that. You're going to wait for it and then go. Wait for it and then go. So those two moves, and obviously there's more complicated subtleties, but really two big moves. Heave it off, rotate through. 3 moves maybe. Heave it off, let it drop into the slot, rotate through. So work on that, and don't think about hitting it hard. Think about doing that perfectly. That's the route to a good swing. So everybody in their mind has an idea of hit it hard, and most of us, our idea has to do with something where we put force into the club, either doing something like this or putting too much energy from the top. So really it's just, if you can do that really softly and then feel when it's perfect, right? Feel when your application of force is perfect, and then just build up. So I'm going to do one real soft here. Yeah, and the application of force was very nice on that, and the effort was not high, and that's plenty good, a plenty good swing. Again, spin numbers are a little low, so I go a little farther than I, maybe would, but so work on that. And then the part that when you want to ramp it up, there's no reason to. That's all you really want with a 6-iron. But with a driver, you're going to eventually want to ramp it up. But I do think it's better to try to train good sequence with a club even less than this. 9-iron pitching wedge is a better club because it's a little heavier, easier to figure out your sequence. You don't have all the mental scar tissue that you will with the driver. So you want to capture that sequence and feeling of a really good swing, and then start moving it up through your clubs, right? So start with, now I can do it with a pitching wedge. And that's, for me, that was exactly what I did. I wouldn't have never gone straight at that with a driver. So I worked on even smaller, like, what's the least amount of energy I can use to make a swing, and how slowly can I start down? That was what my focus was. So least amount of energy, how slowly can I start down? Work on that until you get what feels like a very smooth, unencumbered swing, and you can see it's still, it's like no energy, 160-yard, 6-iron, fine, right? Nothing wrong with that. So that's the trick. Any kind of energy that is out of place, going against, arms against the body, all those things are taking away speed and power. So you want to get that feeling of the swing perfected, and then you can start adding a little more to it, and adding more to it is just a little more toss, a little harder turn. That's it.